Hello everybody, welcome to Crafty Soup. My name is Misty. I am here with my second scrapbook kit build of the month. Normally, I only do one kit build on the first of the month, and if you haven't seen the one for this month, go ahead and check it out. This second one has a very specific purpose for my design team role over at the Counterfeit Kit Challenge. Before we start with my kit build, I want to say that I always start my kit builds with inspiration as part of the design team, and this time around we are taking a look at this Simple Stories collection pack. So as we take a look at that, I will tell you that the biggest inspiration I took for this particular project was the globes. And that is why I'm going to end up creating a traveler's notebook for an upcoming trip. So when I say traveler's notebook, I don't mean what is typically a traveler's notebook. Instead, I'm going to be using this. This is a Japanese school notebook, and I like this style because you can open it up, it will lay flat, it has rings instead of a glue binding. If you pull on the sides of the paper only in this diagonal direction, it opens up. You can remove pages, you can move pages around, or you can add pages. If you like the idea of this style of notebook, which actually just zips back closed again once you've moved your pages, this is available at jetpens.com. I have zero monetary affiliation with them. I'm just a fan of these notebooks, and I will leave you a link below. They come in several colors, and I just really love them. I will be doing some pre-made pages, which I will show you at the end of the video, as well as taking embellishments and supplies with me to create pages on the trip. Now that we've seen a peek at the inspiration, let me go ahead and show you how I started my kit build. My whole build is going to start with this piece of paper. It totally reminded me of all of the month bubbles that were a part of the inspiration kit. And yes, this paper is by Simple Stories, so it definitely has that same vibe going on. From here, I started adding more travel-related items. Because this is a traveler's notebook, I don't need a huge amount of paper. What I need is paper that are good for mats and also good for cutting apart for embellishing. So let me show you what else I pulled. Of course, I had to pull some globes. So we've got this. Again, this could be used as mats or it could be cut apart. The inspiration definitely had cameras in it, so I pulled a sheet of that. Thinking about the particular trip that I'm going on, I know we're going to be seeing some city sites, so I wanted to include this kind of map print with some buildings on it. And again, it can be cut down into smaller sections and used in smaller doses. One of the inspiration papers had a bit of a crafty or office supply theme to it, so I pulled out a piece of this. Because I am creating a journal, I figured little sections that centered around the journal might be appropriate. Also, since there will be a lot of journaling, I believe that this cut apart sheet will do a lot of heavy lifting in terms of matting behind photos or even building up a few small embellishment clusters. And then this piece also by Pink, these are both by Pink Fresh, will do the same job. So let's take a look at some embellishments. I wanted to spread out the embellishments just a little bit more so that you could take a look at things in a little more detail to see what I've got going on. Picked and chose just the pieces of chipboard that I wanted. So this is the extent of most of my embellishments. I did go ahead and cut apart a lot of the paper. So I cut apart some of the journaling elements. I did cut apart some of the globes and so on and so forth. So this can be condensed down to fit in the little carry case that I'm going to pack everything in. So next up for this traveler's notebook, I created some really specific theme page kits because I know we will be doing specific things on this trip. And while the Simple Stories was the base of the inspiration for doing this notebook, I feel free at this point to go my own way and stretch this project into things that are very specific to my stories. So with that being said, I'm going to be visiting my brother. He lives in New Jersey, And he has a pool, so we will be doing some swimming while we're at his house. I did pull out some very few embellishments that have to do with swimming, like by the pool is probably going to be the title of one of the pages. And just a single sheet of 6x6 cut down paper to act as a photo mat, most likely. I have a sticker book of embellishments, and then a few things from this sticker sheet, including this chalkboard, which kind of reminds me of the little message board icons in the inspiration. I am going to pre-make most of this page that I will add photos to on the go. I will be taking a portable photo printer with us that prints small-sized Polaroid style photos, so I know the size that those prints will be, and I will leave enough room for a few photos when I put this page together. So the next page kit that I created is this one. And this is a food related. I already mentioned that we're going to be doing some cooking while I visit my brother, so I wanted to capture some of that in there. Next up, we are going to be going to a Broadway show. So I pulled out the few supplies that I have left that have to do with theater experiences. The final page kit that I created has to do with games, because we all like to play games. So I've got just a little collection kit, and most of this stuff is from Simple Stories. And again, I'm just going to pick and choose the pieces I need. I realized when I was building my page kits for specific events, I forgot about a science museum we're going to go to. So I pulled out this kind of star or astronomy kind of vibe paper, and I've put a couple of things on there already from this educational sticker sheet. Yes, it is kind of a younger elementary kind of style, but I am pulling out just a few things that I think will work for a science museum tour, and that is what I've got. In addition to basic embellishments, I will be needing some basic tools. I love this particular word roller stamp from Stampin' Up. I know it's discontinued, but you can find some similar things on Amazon. I have a date roller stamp, gotta have some good dates on there, a small ink pad to take to go, of course liquid glue, a little mini mister, and these are under the TSA limits on liquids. I have a selection of markers and colors that will match some of my elements. The mister and a little stamp block are in here in order to do some ink splatters. And then a pair of scissors. Again, I checked with the TSA because I do plan on doing a carry-on for this instead of checking it. But the TSA requirements for scissors is that from the pivot point to the tip of the blade, the scissors be under 4 inches, and these are not even 2 inches. They do like you to have your blade covered. So I know this has a cap somewhere. Hopefully I can find it. Now I'm going to start some of the pre-planned pages and show you what all that looks like in the end. Working on this for a couple of days now, here and there in between other projects, and I wanted to give a quick update here, and then we'll come back when I'm closer to the end. I just have some notes. This is a page that really is just kind of branding page, I guess you could say, and it's not intended to be used in the journal, so I'm just making notes and things on it. But here is the first opening page that I have created for this journal. I've got some things on the back. I did glue 2 pages together, and that makes it a little bit thicker. This paper is not intended for this purpose, so when need be, I will attach 2 different pages together to give a more sturdy surface. And then I have created the structure of the days of my travel, because usually at the end of the day, I will sit down, make some notes, print my pictures, and do all that at the end of the day. So I have structured it that way. So we've got Tuesday, which is our actually flight day, and then a little bit of stuff on the back. So if I want to add some pictures here about, us at the airport or whatever. I also intend to add some blank pages in between in case I need more room to scrapbook or journal. So we've got Wednesday and kind of a little sticky note of what I think we're doing that day. And then Thursday, I know we're going into the city. I have created a couple of pages for that, but I'll show them when I get more stuff done. Friday and Saturday and Sunday. And then another travel page because Monday is our flight back home. And then I've got one final page in here that I made a mistake when I was dating some of the days of the week ones. And I just covered it up with some washi tape, and I can use this for something else. And speaking of the days of the week, I did create these stickers in between filming the segments of this particular video, and these are my monthly makes. So I made these stickers myself, and I've got a few more pieces in session that I've stashed in my little bin here as I'm working. So I made these, and if you want to know more about my monthly makes, I will link you up in the corner and down below. But again, I created all this stuff kind of in between filming segments. All right, so that is the update. I'm going to keep working, and I will show you more of the pre-planned pages that I will make before we travel. All right, I have completed my pre-planned work as much as I'm going to. Remember, I will take out this note page before I complete the album totally. And this will become my intro page that you can see through the cover. Right here is my title introduction page. I've got just a little decoration on the back. I can always make notes or add photos to any of these open spaces. I've got the work for each day of the week. So this is a travel day. I've included an extra page in case I want to add more, and I can always remove it if I don't. Because of this spine, I'm loving this system. All right, we've got Wednesday, and I'm trying to keep a structure to the album where I have the date, the day name, and then a cluster of embellishments representing what's happening that day. And then we're going to have some pool time, and I can move this around. If we don't end up doing the pool on Wednesday, I can move this page somewhere else. I expect we will play games, and again, I can move it if it's not on this day. Thursday, we are planning on going into the city, so I made a collage appropriate to that. And then I just made a more artful page because that's what I was feeling, and actually I did this one much earlier on in the process, and I enjoyed playing with the watercolors. Now, I did this on a double sheet of glued together pages, and then I cut it out and glued it on yet another page because watercoloring on this paper is not what this paper is made for. Notice I have some full sheets of paper and then a lot of more open spaces to the designs. So I'm trying to mix and match that. I started a little bit of journaling here. Most of my pages are blank on the back to allow for plenty of journaling, but sometimes I will have extra stuff on the back. And then again, another page. The Friday spread. This one will be for the Science Museum. I believe I've got an extra page there. Saturday. I know we're going to do a big meal on Saturday, so I created a food designed page. And then Sunday, we're doing some family gathering with other family, and here we are, seemed like just the right sentiment for that page. And then Monday, we are returning home. So that is a look at the journal pages that I completed ahead of time, and I will go ahead and post maybe a follow-up video or just pictures of the projects. We'll see depending on how I'm feeling at that point. Here is the mini printer that I use, and we've had this for a few years, and this is the film that fits in this particular printer. There's a couple of different versions, and this one is one of the older versions. So I really like this little printer, and it's worked out well for us. I don't have any photos printed out, but I did make up a mock-up, and this is kind of the style of the photo. It's got that Polaroid frame look to it with the photo in the middle, and this is about the size of how the photos come out. In order to pack everything to go, I will be using this bag. I've had it for a number of years. You can see is the Create 365, the Happy Planner brand. I don't know if this bag is still available, but I really like it, so I am hanging on to it. Let's start with this look. It has 2 zipper sections with lots of compartments to stash and store various items. So in this back compartment, I have my journal tucked in there, ready to go. I have some of these more waterproof bags for storing inky and messy things. So I've got markers, my ink pad, and my ink stamps. I will also have in there my glue and my mini mister, but because these are liquids and I might likely carry this on the plane, I have to follow the liquids rules for going through security. So that's why that is in there. But once I get through security, I'll tuck it inside of that. For now, I will zip everything closed on this side so that I can show you this side. So my scissors should make it through security. I need to find the cat for them. Those 2 things I will keep accessible so that when I get to security, I will be able to pull them out easily. I have collected the extra leftover pieces from doing the pre-made pages with specific themes. So I've got food and movie night in this bag, pool and sun, going into the city and the theater, museum, and games. I'm going to put these into this section. I probably won't need to get into this stuff very much, but it's there if I want it. So it doesn't need to be easily accessible. This is all of the bits and pieces I mentioned in the beginning of my kit build. And so I'm going to make sure that is zip closed, and I'm going to leave it pretty easily accessible right here. And for now, I'll tuck these things in so that I know where they are. And that is how I travel and scrapbook on the go. Of course, I forgot to find the place where my printer will fit inside of here, so I will have to rearrange a few things, but in the end, I do get it to fit. Thank you for joining me today for this project. I hope you got something interesting out of what I'm doing with scrapbooking as I travel. I will be back soon with more crafty videos for you, and until then, I hope you have an artful day.